Hi there, brick builders. Today we got a set that is a bit larger. It's the yellow crane tower from Xingbao. It's the Xingbao xb-01024 and sports 6,794 pieces. It is on a base plate which is extended by one stud, so it's about 26 by 26 centimeters and about 50 centimeters in height. As far as I know, it's still the biggest set that Xingbao sells or sold at this point. But let's first have a look at the box. It's shiny, it's a bit imprinted, it is nothing to fear about. There is a picture of the tower on the front and another one on the back, accompanied by a lot of Chinese characters which I can't read. And here we have it, why this is also a mock, since I built in a custom light set for this tower. It includes standard light kits with the plates that have the LEDs in there and are coupled to have a USB plug at the end. And there's also some of the lanterns, so round bricks, which do also have LEDs in there and are also coupled to an USB. All those things get inside, and there we get a bit of a hub in there, but that's something for later. Going from top to bottom, this is a modular building, but only the roof and the base are really different. The three stages inside there are much the same, if not completely the same. The set comes with each story as a separate building part, so you really build these stories one after another, and even if they are identical, you get the identical instructions for every story. This shot also shows that the 6,800 pieces that are built in here are mostly small pieces, and there are a hell of a lot of decorative pieces in there that can be moved, that can be fiddled with. So it's a real task at the end to put everything right, to put every fish where it belongs, to shape every roof as it should be, and all those little things. In the end, it's a massive building that looks very fragile and that feels very fragile when handling it. Here we're starting with the mock part. We can see that there are those plates with the LEDs inside in the basement here, and there is something like an altar, which in reality is a cover-up for the USB hub. Normally inside this thing is completely empty. So to achieve all this lighting, I had to use something to put all the different strands from the different stories together. I choose to use a USB hub, a run-of-the-mill one, and cut the cable. Just decided to use only the plus and minus connection further on. For the lighting there's nothing more needed, there's no data bridging, nothing. So you just can cut all the other cables if you don't plan to use this thing again as a USB hub. So I decided to use the plus and minus cable to elongate it a bit with thin cable so that I could put those connections outward of the building itself. In the end I was planning, and I did so. I was putting it in the city, and therefore I needed a bit of cabling to get to the next hub. But that is via a switch. So the next thing in line will be the switch and then the cabling outside, so that I then can reattach the real USB lens of the hub to just put it inside another hub or a power bank, whatever is needed there. And don't forget your shrink tubing. So here we're connecting the cable to the switch. The switch is also a Lego compatible part. It comes from the switches for the Xingbao Apple Store LEDs, or maybe also the Wandering Earth ones. They do have the same switches inside to switch the LEDs and to house the batteries for those LEDs with the Xingbao sets, but of course I'm not interested in any batteries here. The advantage is that you can put this switch directly on a plate or on another brick, because it really has a negative brick pattern on the back. After that, another length of cable to get out of the plate, and then comes the plug. Et voila, it works! But since we're in the building phase now, what is the set like to build? As I said, it's big, it's modular, it comes in different parts so that you don't have the 6800 parts lying on your table all at once. It's on a base plate, but this base plate is surrounded by a fence or an entrance, which is not directly connected. In the end, you put the base plate inside a construction that is the fence with some plates to just mount this or to put the base plate inside. The pieces themselves are the typical quality you got from Xingbao in the year 2018-2019, so it's a hodgepodge of different stuff. Yes, you will need some glue to put this thing together, not only because some of the pieces are a bit driven by gravity, but also because it's really delicate, it's real fragile. It really responds to every move you make with it. It won't fall apart, don't get me wrong on this, but there are these thousands of decorations items that are on hinges, that are turning, that are put together in a way that you can easily change their positions, and then it looks not so good anymore. So really be careful with this one and take your time to put everything in the place you want to have it. Also, there are no prints in this set. Everything you've seen is a sticker, even the ones that are on the windows, tinting the windows. These are stickers as well. The building process is interesting in a good and in a bad way. For once, you do have building techniques that are not that common, especially for the decoration, but also all the columns are a bit different in looks department. But this is also becoming a bit fiddly, since especially for the columns you need to make sure that they are straight and that they are all straight, since they are freestanding in most of the positions. Also, the idea to put the base plate inside this fencing is not really a good one, since underneath there are 2x10, 2x12 plates, so not all the base plate is covered with something underneath, and pushing all the stuff in from above is a bit of a chore there, at least in the beginning. Once you get the second story, there is no problem there, because you're already making this or building this one separately. So maybe it's a better way to put the base plate in, or let it out and put the first story on that and then put it in. But the instructions do say otherwise in this way. Then the second, third and fourth story are virtually identical. So on the one hand, it might be easier to put them together at the same time or in parallel. On the other hand, you would have to need a lot of pieces on your table to do so. So it's again a trade-off. The roof again is rather different and interesting to build. So once you're ready, you're ready. In hindsight, I guess Xingbao, at least at this point in time, overestimated their quality in pieces. So it's a real pain from time to time to really put those things together and make them stay where they need to be. So yeah, you need a bit of glue. So whom is this set for? Of course, it's first and foremost a display set. It's something that lives on a shelf, on a rather big shelf, or better even in a city, in a nice surrounding, in a diorama. There is, in the original, was a minifig included of the monk, of the major monk, I guess there. This wasn't part of my delivery by Blue Bricks, so I can't show that to you. But seeing this big building hanging around in a good surrounding even wows children, which are normally not that wowed by buildings. On another note, there's nothing really tiled on the inside, and also on the outside between the columns. I tried to remedy theirs with extra tiles I put on there, and of course with the cover for the USB hub inside. There is no stories in the sense that you could put a minifig in the second, third or fourth floor, because there is no floor to do so. It's just the ground floor and it's going up to the top freely in this case. For playing, there is the handling problem. You would have to put a lot of the decoration away to have a valuable play set there, even it's a modular. And for playing, the next problem is you got a modular but you don't have any floors. So there's just the base to play with. In the end, I guess if you want something for your kids to play with, you rather get another one, even from Xingbao. For parts, if you need the colors, there are a lot of pieces. There are even pieces I haven't seen from Lego anywhere by now. Of course, there is the problem with the clutch power in some cases, but currently the set is sold for about 100 euros for 6,800 pieces. I guess there are enough good pieces in there to justify the investment. And again, the colors you see are the colors you get in the most cases. There's a bit of brown, which you don't see at the first glance, but there's not a coloring mess like you have that with some other companies that sell those pieces. And of course, there are a lot of golden fishes. If you need those, here they are. Lastly, the instructions here are typical for Xingbao. Older stuff is grayed out. Only the current stuff is shown in color, and there are a lot of sub-assemblies, and lots of them do have a ×2, ×5, ×20. So since we're deeply in the building phase now, it's time to say goodbye for this video. So if you've liked what you've seen, please press the like button. If you didn't like what you have seen, please press the didn't like button. If you have comments on Xingbao, on the set, on the suitability for a city, please comment. And if you want to have the delight to have something like this, or maybe a little bit different stuff every week, please subscribe. But that's it for the moment. Have fun building, have fun watching, and see you.
Wow.